Tonight on CTV News, Granville Street closed to cars.
This is a very exciting time for our city. It's going to bring much needed revenue and sales to our local businesses.
Businesses banking on a win as the entertainment district turns into a World Cup pedestrian zone.
We tweaked it a little bit with some legacy improvements that will certainly help all future events.
Last-minute preparations at BC Place ahead of the first World Cup match. How fast fans will be able to get into the stadium? Advice for ticket holders. And horrific details emerge in the sentencing of a Fraser Valley woman convicted of sex trafficking, the shocking abuse of sex workers.
This is CTV News with Mi Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The countdown to kickoff is on. The FIFA World Cup officially begins Thursday with the first game at BC Place on Saturday. And today, media were given a tour of the FIFA transformation of BC Place. CTV's Kevin Chirac joins us now. Kevin, we're 6 days away. You had a first-hand look. How's the stadium looking?
Well, Mi Jung, it's clear FIFA's presence is taking over BC Place. Just look behind me. You have the perimeter fencing around the Terry Fox Plaza. This is actually one of the entrances. This is the VIP entrance. The main entrance is on the other side of BC Place, the east side entrance, and there's many more changes inside. You can even see behind me signage, a big screen. But with less than a week ago until the action starts, it's still very much a work in progress. Putting the finishing touches on getting BC Place game day ready.
We've got a great week of work ahead of us to get this ready to go for Saturday.
From landscaping the new FIFA-approved Fraser Valley-made pitch to some new chef creations, a maple bacon smoky and short rib poutine.
We want all the fans and guests, when they come to BC Place, feel connected to our flavors of Canada.
The tour also giving a sneak peek at FIFA merch featuring Canada, along with Australia and Turkey ahead of Saturday's opening match. A team of local paramedics who applied for the competitive gig were also on scene running simulations. Outside, a look at one of the approximately 50 screening areas pedestrians will pass through to access the games.
It will be a single entry process, so once you go through the screening and the ticket scan at the outer perimeter fence line, you're essentially inside the stadium. So that will help to distribute the crowd getting into the stadium proper with our outdoor entertainment experience and the stadium fan areas that are outside.
The nearly $200 million in upgrades at BC Place also include renovated dressing rooms, new VIP zones, and this hospitality area, replacing former office space and storage.
Guests here will have seats out in the bowl, but they'll have their pre-match, halftime, and post-match hospitality experience will be in here.
As for the retractable roof, expect it to stay closed.
Likely on match days it will be closed, just to create that consistent environment, in particular for broadcast television.
Beyond the changes to BC Place, officials hope the tournament will help further put Vancouver on the global stage as a destination for major events. So for ticket holders, the perimeter fencing gates open 3 hours prior to kickoff. They say it'll take about an hour to completely fill the stadium with fans, so they're encouraging fans to arrive early so they don't miss any of the action.
Kevin, we know tickets for the matches here have not sold out yet. Do you have an update on how that's going?
So no specifics on ticket sales, but we did ask officials. They said they confirmed not sold out, but that ticket sales do remain strong. One thing I want to add is that because of the upgrades and the changes to BC Place, it actually cut down capacity. So now a full stadium is about 51,000 seats. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. There are plenty of changes downtown for locals and fans to be aware of, and some misconceptions about where people can go and where they can't. TransLink is trying to clear up the confusion. CTV's Sinjin Alexander has those details.
Organizers appear happy with their progress, thrilled the world media is taking a shine to the giant soccer ball at Science World.
It was our hope that this shot, that ball, would become the shot of the tournament. And that's what's starting to happen.
They're also putting the finishing touches on what they're calling the spectator route, that walk in blue from Main Street SkyTrain station to BC Place on game days.
There will be musical performances throughout, pop-up stores, a beer garden.
This fenced-off area is meant for ticket holders, but the public is allowed to enjoy it too, up to a certain point.
It's not absolutely restricted, so there is the opportunity for folks to cycle by, walk by.
It will be open 4 hours before each Vancouver game and close half an hour before kickoff. Anyone without a ticket won't be able to go beyond these fenced-off areas closer to the stadium.
There isn't going to be anywhere to watch the match here. So what we want is people to watch the matches, and we'd really encourage them to watch those at one of the watch parties that's taking place downtown Vancouver, or come out to the fan festival.
There is also some confusion about SkyTrain. Ticket holders should get off at Main Street Station, where the spectator walk begins. Stadium Station will remain open. After all, there are people who live nearby. But the bottom gates will be shut, and with all the closures, you're in for a long walk to get to BC Place.
So if you do happen to want to get off at Stadium, you'll have a heck of a time if you're trying to go to BC Place, Vancouver.
By the way, we're told the seawall itself will remain open, even when matches are underway. St. John Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
The Granville Street pedestrian zone is now in effect. The stretch of Granville between Georgia and Davie is closed to vehicle traffic. A number of cross streets, including Robson, Smythe, and Nelson, remain open to traffic. Beyond people enjoying what's already along Granville, there will be extra patios, vendors, food options, and live music. Bar owners are hopeful it will provide a much-needed spark to the area.
This is a very exciting time for our city, and it's going to bring much needed revenue and sales to our local businesses. And I also think it's going to create a lot of employment, temporary jobs in events.
The city says dedicated bus lanes will be installed along Howe and Seymour Streets. The pedestrian zone will be in effect through July 19th. The logistics of getting fans in and out of the venues is a major consideration for planners, and so is their health and safety. Having that many people sightseeing and partying downtown means hundreds of people are working behind the scenes to prevent serious problems. CTV's Penny Daflos explains.
Fencing is up and some Vancouver streets are closed to traffic as security measures intensify for the World Cup games. But policing isn't the only safety aspect at play when big crowds converge on the city.
What is missing from the picture and what the research tells us is that we can expect increased gender-based violence during this time.
Women's groups are staffing up in anticipation of a spike in calls.
With World Cup, with other high-profile sporting events, we know that there can be between a 20 to 40% increase in intimate partner violence reports.
Larger crowds, more alcohol consumption, absolutely that increases the risk.
They're also launching this public service announcement.
No!
Based off a UK campaign highlighting what coercive control looks like.
Who's that?
My sister.
And who to reach out to for help. Vancouver police aren't just counting on boots on the ground and are leaning into surveillance cameras and drones for the first signs of trouble.
We've been working with the Privacy Commissioner hand in hand with the city for a number of months now.
As women's advocates and police focus on physical safety and security, health officials see different risks with the incoming crowds.
For every mass gathering, there's always the threat of infectious diseases.
From gastrointestinal illnesses to sexually transmitted ones or measles. And while there are multiple communication channels, the Trump administration removed America from the World Health Organization.
That means coordinating information, sharing information across Mexico and Canada and the United States is a little more complicated than it used to be.
Some of the many considerations of running an unprecedented 104 World Cup matches across 3 countries. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.
Still ahead tonight, the words you aren't allowed to say to promote soccer watch parties during the World Cup, the FIFA trademark legal issues, and how some businesses are getting close to crossing the line. Metro Vancouver is tightening water restrictions again today as the region heads into what could be a long, dry summer. Officials say residents used more water last month than they did at the same time last year, despite a ban on lawn watering that took effect in May. The region is currently consuming about 1.2 billion liters of water every day and wants to keep demand below 1.4 billion liters while a major water crossing near Stanley Park remains out of service. Under the new restrictions, lawn watering remains prohibited. Residents are also no longer allowed to wash vehicles at home or fill pools, hot tubs, and decorative water features with drinking water. If caught, residents could face significant fines.
In stage 3, they can go as high as $750. So it is a lot of money, and it's avoidable if you can turn off those automatic sprinklers, water by hand, and don't use the high quality drinking water for washing down driveways or cars while we're in stage 3.
Trees, shrubs, flowers, and vegetable gardens can still be watered. Metro Vancouver says hot and dry conditions, a below-average snowpack, and ongoing construction on the Stanley Park water supply tunnel are all increasing pressure on the region's water system. Officials expect the first Narrows water crossing to return to service by the end of July. Time to take a look outside of False Creek, and our transformed science world looks pretty good. Kind of hazy out there. I did feel some raindrops out there, Caroline.
Yeah, it's drizzle. It's not really committing to too much right now, but the rain will return overnight and into tomorrow morning. But right now it is pretty cool out there, well below seasonal, which is about 18 for this time of year. So 14 in Vancouver, 15 in Pitt Meadows, and 16 in Abbotsford. As for the next 24 hours, yes, rain tonight and into tomorrow morning, and then just sort of intermittent showers throughout the day tomorrow. The later on in the day, the more clearing will take place. And wait till you see what we have in store for the end of the week and into the weekend. How's that for a tease?
You just want to bypass the next couple of days, right?
Just take a nap for a couple days and then wake up.
All right. Thanks, Caroline.
Thank you.
A large fire destroyed an A&W on Kingsway in Burnaby late this afternoon, and flames ignited while a number of customers and workers were inside. Lauren Pullen is following this in the Breaking News Center. Lauren, do we know if anyone was injured?
Well, good news, Mi-Jung. Paramedics tell us everyone did get out safely. There were no injuries, but anyone driving in the area will want to steer clear as Kingsway is shut down near Gilly. Video from inside shows flames coming through a ceiling panel. We know the fire started at around 3 p.m. over the kitchen, and it spread quickly. Firefighters were initially battling the flames inside the restaurant, but then the ceiling started falling, so they had to evacuate. They continued working to extinguish the flames from outside while that thick smoke billowed into the sky. The cause of the fire, Meej, is still under investigation, but fire officials say the building will have to be torn down.
Thanks for this update, Lauren. Graphic videos showing beatings, torture, and violent sex assaults have been played at a sentencing hearing for a woman who has pleaded guilty in connection to a horrific human trafficking case. Here's CTV's Michelle Bernaro with more from BC Supreme Court in New Westminster and a warning: the details are disturbing.
The videos, some of them filmed by Jennifer Stevens, the woman who is being sentenced, are so graphic that the judge gave a warning to observers in the courtroom before they were played. 31-year-old Jennifer Stevens, whose appearance has changed from these photos, earlier pleaded guilty to 17 charges involving 4 victims. One of those victims was just 13 years old. Among the videos played in court, one showed this gun, which was used in the physical and sexual assault of a man. Another shows a woman being forced to stick her head in a toilet. And in another video, the same victim is whimpering and wearing only underwear as she is forced to crawl on the floor and eat dog food. In March of 2023, the woman, along with a 13-year-old victim, had been working for Stevens out of this Langley hotel. The woman had run to the gas station next door asking for help. She was bloodied and badly injured. The woman had been beaten by Stevens and a man for 4 to 5 hours before escaping. Stevens was among several people arrested by police that day. Court heard another victim was viciously assaulted and videoed at this Surrey hotel. Court also heard that Stevens had bragged about having a business Snapchat account with 500 clients. It took me so long to build that client list. I've had pimps offer me thousands to sell it to them, she had texted. Crown said a psych assessment found Stevens had minimized her role in the offenses, denying she was the organizer or mastermind of the operation. Crown is asking for a sentence of 13 years. The hearing will continue on Tuesday. Michelle Bernoro, CTV News, Westminster.
West Vancouver police have arrested a man who allegedly assaulted a young woman on a footpath between the Horseshoe Bay Ferry Terminal and a nearby parkade last Wednesday. This is a surveillance photo of the suspect that BC Ferries provided to police. It's alleged the man, described as heavy-set in his 50s with a bushy beard, wrapped his arms around a female youth as he passed her on the path, but she was able to escape.
From people I've talked to who saw videos or stills of the videos, they said it was disturbing and terrifying. And, even sort of middle-aged men who'd seen it said, that gives them pause for concern walking down there, even in a group. And you think about, we have a lot of workers who work independent shifts.
The union says only some of its members were alerted to the assault on Friday, and the public didn't learn about it until Sunday. Police say the suspect was arrested on Vancouver Island today and will appear in court on September the 9th. Neck and neck, one of the first polls of BC voters following the Conservative leadership race is showing a tie between the governing NDP and the official opposition. CTV's Rob Buffum reports on what's behind the numbers.
It's raining in the capital, but the latest polling is anything but gloomy for the BC Conservatives.
I think we could do with a round of Conservatives. Ebby's not very pro-business.
A survey from Research Co. released Monday shows the BC Conservatives under newly minted leader Carrie Lynn Finlay surging, tied with the NDP amongst decided voters.
The Conservatives doing better than they did in the latter stages of the Rostad leadership.
The latest numbers come on the heels of a Léger poll last week that showed the Conservatives leading the NDP by 4 points.
The Conservatives are well established as an alternative to the NDP and may even be a little bit ahead.
But it's not all rainbows and unicorns for the official opposition and its new leader. The same Research Co. poll shows 41% of those surveyed think it's time to bring back the BC Liberals as a moderate alternative to the NDP or Conservatives.
There's an appetite for a different option.
But that appetite isn't necessarily translating into votes without a high-profile leader for the BC Liberals stepping forward.
Might be an appetite for this, but it has to be tied to a specific name that wants to really champion this cause.
When including the BC Liberals as an option without a specific leader, the BC NDP edge out the Conservatives, and the BC Liberals get 15% of decided voters' support. Whether the Conservatives can build on its momentum may depend on whether Findlay focuses on the economy or culture wars that appeal to her base.
If you can connect on the bread and butter issues, walk away a little bit from the social conservatism that dominate in the leadership race, there's a chance that the Conservatives could climb even higher.
Findlay doesn't yet have a seat in the legislature and is hoping to contest one soon. Assuming she wins one, expect fiery exchanges here in October, when the fall sitting begins, as both main parties fight for the crucial voters in the middle.
Rob joins us live now from Victoria. Rob, what are the BC Conservatives saying about this latest poll?
Well, Mijing, I reached out to Carrie Lynn Finlay's communications team and was told we'd have a statement. I was told at the end of the day they did not have a statement for us. So I spoke to the executive director of the Conservatives, who said that he's very happy about this latest poll, noting that he's never seen a Research Co. poll showing the Conservatives doing this well. As for the hypothetical of the BC Liberals, he said he doesn't put a lot of stock in hypotheticals in a poll. Mijing.
Okay, thank you for this, Rob. A surprising feline is spotted in East Vancouver. How a serval ended up under someone's porch, also ahead.
After a year of bargaining, there remains a very, very long list on the union side.
Grinding through a labor dispute, the grouse grind is behind a picket line. What union members are asking the public to do. When CTV News at 6 continues, stay with us. An exotic cat on the loose in East Vancouver had neighbors doing a double take over the weekend. Police say a serval cat that had escaped its home was found hiding under someone's porch last night. Conservation officers were called in to help, and the large African wild cat was safely reunited with its owners. The incident comes just weeks after BC implemented new restrictions on exotic cats, including servals. The province banned them last month with an exception for people who already own the animals. A rock fall took place at the Squamish Chief this morning, marking the second slide at the Squamish Mountain this year. Video captured by the Squamish Chief webcam shows clouds of debris rising from the north side of the mountain as rocks tumble down. The Environment and Parks Ministry says the slide happened around 9 a.m. at an area called the Zodiac Wall, and no injuries were reported. The ministry says there have been multiple slides in the area before, including a smaller one back in February and larger events in 2015 and 2021. Picket lines went up at 3 regional parks today, including the Grouse Grind. Unionized Metro Van employees saying getting a deal has been an uphill battle. They've been working without a contract for nearly a year and a half. CTV's Ben Milger has more on the workers' demands and the response from Metro Van.
A group of Metro Van workers who normally maintain the Grouse Grind spent Monday morning picketing near the entrance to the iconic trail.
You know, we don't want to put the public out any more than we want to put our workers out. So we're hoping not to inconvenience them, but we're hoping that they hear us and support us.
The employees and others who work in outdoor roles with the regional district have been without a contract since December of 2024. They accuse Metro Van of walking away from the bargaining table, but that's something the employer disputes. It sounds like you have a difference of opinion on that.
The Metro Vancouver bargaining team is ready to return at any time. We requested a mediator at this point to make sure that we can continue to make progress. We really value these employees. They're an essential part of the region.
The union says if the dispute continues, it does have options for escalating its job action. But if it comes to that, it says it will do so in a way that protects essential services and does not put public health and safety at risk.
To ensure the region still has safe drinking water and properly treated wastewater, etc.
Metro Van says it is offering more than 10% in raises over the next 3 years. But the union says its major sticking points relate to work being contracted out and worker safety.
Metro has skipped on safety on a number of things within the organization, and we'd like that reviewed and take a look at.
The employer disagrees with that assertion as well.
Safety is incredibly important to us. Of our 71 peer organizations as categorized by WorkSafe BC, we are in the top 3 for workplace safety. It's non-negotiable for us.
The union says it will not stop hikers from using trails at the parks where members are picketing. Ben Milger, CTV News, North Vancouver.
Recycling is piling up in parts of Vancouver. Residents say the contractor responsible for collecting it is failing at the basics. CTV's Martin McMahon has the story, including what the organization responsible for recycling is saying.
Could you please pick up the recycling?
From containers to cardboard, the recycling is piling up in Vancouver's Fairview neighborhood and other areas around False Creek. Some buildings haven't had pickups in 4 weeks. Residents told to store recycling in their units. It's the latest in a series of missed collections since a company called Recycling Alternative took over the job in February. Previous delays lasted even longer.
The company that's contracted to do this is Recycling Alternative, and people are looking, unfortunately, having to look at recycling alternatives right now. So obviously there's no way they can put it in the actual bins right now.
At the building next door, a similar story.
They just get piled up. People don't know what to do.
And in the self-proclaimed greenest city, George Guthrie says he's aware some people in the neighborhood are simply throwing their recycling in the trash.
4 weeks of no collection whatsoever, and we're now into the 5th week. The city likes to see itself as one of the greenest cities, and this is a complete failure of that program.
In a statement, the city told us, we understand the frustration from Fairview residents experiencing delays and agree that timely and reliable recycling service is important. While the city does not operate this program, we have relayed concerns about service disruptions to Recycle BC. Recycling Alternative would not do an interview with CTV, instead directing us to Recycle BC, the nonprofit which oversees overseas recycling.
We do sincerely apologize for the interruption. We recognize that, especially for Vancouver and condo residents where space is limited, this is particularly important.
When asked if there is a way to terminate the company's contract, Recycle BC insisted most recycling is being collected, but says people in affected buildings should contact it to escalate the response. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
A devastating earthquake hits the southern Philippines, killing dozens of people. Also ahead.
We've been creative, we've got a great plan, and everybody's going to have fun.
How organizations and businesses are capitalizing on World Cup momentum, from soccer transit passes to bongs, all while playing within FIFA's tough rules. That's ahead. A powerful offshore earthquake hit the southern Philippines today, killing at least 35 people. More than 200 others were injured in the magnitude 7.8 quake. Several mostly low-rise buildings collapsed or sustained heavy damage in one hard-hit city, and tsunami damage was reported in at least one coastal village. The earthquake also triggered a deadly landslide. The U.S., France, Japan, and New Zealand say they are ready to support Philippine response efforts. Much like here in Vancouver, Toronto is bracing for a surge in visitors as the World Cup gets underway. One UK family is spending $10,000 to be a part of the excitement, even though they don't have any tickets to any of the matches. Nathan Richardson.
It's just great fun. I mean, I like getting to know people from other countries, explore the city. We're going to do a day out to Niagara Falls.
Nathan Richardson still hopes to get last-minute seats to a match, but is also okay with the fact his World Cup experience may not get him inside the stadium. Mexico is already looking for a win ahead of the World Cup. Thousands of people lined a street in Mexico City hoping for the longest ever fan wave. After a couple practice runs, Mexican officials say the attempt to set a record for the biggest wave outside a stadium was a success. Guinness World Records has yet to make it official as it continues to review the attempt. As the World Cup approaches, expect to be inundated with commercials from official FIFA sponsors. But as CTV's John Woodward reports, there are marketing campaigns trying to hitch a ride on the event's momentum, large and small.
Our screen will be in front of the mural.
Susan Puff is getting ready to turn this parking lot into a soccer watch party in a few days.
That will be on Friday with Team Canada, so we hope everybody comes and cheers them on.
The Broadview Danforth Business Improvement Association's poster says cheer on Team Canada, but there are some words you don't see.
We're not allowed to use those two words, and I can't even say them in this interview. So you will have to say them.
Okay, I'll say it. The words are World and Cup, trademarks that FIFA is jealously guarding because its sponsorship revenue is worth billions.
They're typically huge companies, first of all, because you have to remember a FIFA sponsorship at the highest level, let's say a Coca-Cola, for example, might be anywhere from $150 to $200 million.
But there are other businesses trying for publicity as well. Tim Hortons is just celebrating its soccer heritage. Canadian airline Air Transat has poked fun at sky-high ticket prices, comparing them to actual flights. A campaign that's taken off, says creator Rafik Belmesk.
When there's a big event like this, it's important for brands to capitalize on some of the momentum that's happening on the field and some of the conversations that the fans are having.
Metrolink's offering a limited edition soccer Presto card. Vancouver's TransLink agency selling out of its soccer ball-shaped transit passes. And pot shop Cosmic Charlie's on Toronto's Queen Street West isn't selling a World Cup trophy bong. They're saying,
we have our championship bong.
How close can I fly to the sun without getting my wings burned off?
Trademark lawyer Mei Cheng says these efforts are often tongue-in-cheek, but cross the line and the cease and desist letters will come.
They're inviting trouble, if I can put it that way.
Trouble Susan Puff wants to avoid.
We've been creative, we've got a great plan, and everybody's going to have fun.
She knows that even if the words World Cup aren't on the poster, the fans will understand. John Woodward, CTV News.
Fans welcome Team Canada as they arrive in Toronto ahead of Friday's first World Cup match. Also coming up, how some zoo animals are getting ready for the World Cup, why this red river hog seems especially interested in its soccer ball. You're watching CTV News at 6.
Time now for tonight's Skywatch. Chillin' in Creekside Park, looking towards BC Place in the old Plaza of Nations under a light overcast sky in False Creek.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
A dramatic scene was caught on camera in Hawaii as diners at a waterfront restaurant watched on as massive waves crashed onto a street, soaking cars and pedestrians. Officials say wave heights were measured at 4 to 6 feet, though the surf appeared much larger. The swell was reportedly generated by a powerful weather system just south of New Zealand. It looks like the World Cup fever has hit a zoo in Chicago. Check out this red river hog using his nose to dribble a melon painted like a soccer ball. Soccer-themed enrichment activities is how Brooksfield Zoo has been getting animals into the World Cup spirit. Ike the Addax looks like a formidable striker, while the bison puts up a good defense. Meanwhile, Nyota the zebra is more interested in the threats inside the ball, the treats inside the ball, than playing with it. Oh, that's not fair that the treats are in there.
I know, I'm making them work for it.
I know.
Not fair.
At least with the melon, they could just like eat the melon, right?
Just squash it open.
Pretty cute, though.
Adorable. I could watch that all day, but I won't because I have to tell you about the forecast. Let's look at the current temperature in Vancouver. Yeah, it's cool. It's gray. It's grim out there. It's a very wet evening, and the rainfall will continue overnight and into tomorrow morning. Well, it will taper off, but the next day will look kind of like today, really, because of this low pressure system, which is bringing in a lot of precipitation into the province. But as we head towards the Okanagan, a special weather statement is in place from tomorrow morning to Wednesday morning. Special weather statement, snow, yes. 4 centimeters, but still, it's snow in June, and that's expected to impact the Okanagan connector Merritt to Kelowna. So if you're going to be out and about on the roads, watch for snow in June. Hey, I just tell you about it. It's not my fault. All right, the next 24 hours in Vancouver look like this. As I said, rain will taper off into the morning, so there will be a chance of showers and intermittent showers throughout the day. But as the day goes on, the clearing will take place. And oh, just you wait until the end of the week. What a treat we have. But first, we have to get through tomorrow's forecast before I get to all that good news. Port Hardy, showers and 13 degrees. Campbell River, Comox, a risk of thunderstorms at a high of 18 degrees. As we head toward the South Island, Tofino, we'll see showers, and Port Alberni all the way down to Victoria, we'll see mix of sun and cloud and some showers and pretty mild-ish temperatures. Victoria will see 15 and Nanaimo 17. The Sunshine Coast won't see any sunshine tomorrow. Showers throughout the day in Powell River and Seashell. Whistler, Squamish, there's a risk of thunderstorms there. Risk of thunderstorms in Fraser Valley, but again, the clouds will be clearing as the day goes on. And would you just look at this? We're going to skip over Tuesday and Wednesday. Would you look at Thursday and Friday? See, I get to pick what we look at. And by the time FIFA launches at BC Place, look at Saturday's forecast. What a fantastic day. So me, Jung, I keep saying that, yeah, we need the rain. And yes, it is rainy right now. But for all the visitors that come in that think, oh, it rains all the time in Vancouver. Well, Mother Nature has other plans for them this weekend.
Yeah, a lot more decisive forecast. We got the rain for sure today, and then sunshine for sure.
We just have to get through the rain first.
All right. Thanks a lot, Caroline. Good news for renters. Housing costs have fallen again. We'll tell you by how much. Also ahead.
It will take some time for things to go back to normal, even if the Strait of Hormuz reopens this month.
Turbulence in the airline industry thanks to rising jet fuel prices. What Ottawa is offering airlines and why critics say consumers won't benefit. That's ahead. Down slightly again, trading under 72 cents USD. Oil up up slightly, closing the day around 91 a barrel. Gold lost just under $2 on the day. On the stock market, the TSX gained 65 points. The Dow Jones lost 80 points on the day. Canada Post is warning of minor interruptions to mail service in Vancouver and Toronto during the World Cup. The Postal Service says it's removing some mailboxes and adjusting service around Toronto's Fan Festival and Toronto Stadium. It says people living in these areas could see delivery delays, and there will be no commercial pickups on game days. Meanwhile, in Vancouver, Canada Post is warning of interruptions at mailboxes near its Fan Fest and BC Place. The boxes may be cleared and sealed on match days. With the fragile ceasefire being tested in the Middle East region, the markets have remained steady. But as oil and gas prices continue to fluctuate, Ottawa has announced a program to help the airlines cope with high fuel costs. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver takes us through the relief package and how it'll work.
Ahead of a busy travel season, the federal government is offering airlines a boost to help offset the impact of turbulent oil prices.
This is an important step, an important signal from the federal government that they are watching this situation closely and that they're willing to put some money on the table to prevent difficulties from taking place in the Canadian airline industry.
Experts say domestic ticket prices in Canada have gone up at least 15% since the war in Iran began. In late April, U.S. Gulf Coast jet fuel hit $4.34 USD a gallon. Now it's fallen to around $3.50 a gallon, still well above the pre-war price, where it hovered around $2.
It will take some time for things to go back to normal. Even if the Strait of Hormuz reopens this month, it's going to take time for ships to travel back to it and then the oil from the Middle East to hit global markets.
The Finance Department says that's why they're offering airlines up to $150 million in repayable loans to provide stability and to ensure continued reliable flight access for Canadian air travelers.
The marketplace will drive airline behavior. This strategy of $150 million with strings attached is not going to be enough to drive the airline behavior.
The Conservatives, though, doubt this plan that, similar to what Ottawa offered airlines during the pandemic, will help passengers.
The consumer is never never the one that gets the benefit from any of these government bailouts. They are not fixing the crux of the problem.
Airlines who choose to apply for these loans will have to agree to limit executive compensation and to maintain Canadian operations. But the exact details, according to finance officials, will be up for negotiation. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
A new report shows the price of rent in Canada continued to decline on a year-over-year basis last month. According to rentals.ca and Urban Nation, the average asking rent for May dropped 4.7% to roughly $2,000. That's down roughly $100 from the previous year and marks the 20th consecutive annual decline. The analysis shows annual apartment rent decreases were concentrated in the largest provinces led by BC, Alberta, and Ontario. Ottawa embraces its title as Shawarma capital of Canada and even breaks a world record. A taste of that still ahead tonight. Plus, turtle time. Adam finds out how a tortoise who goes for daily walks is spreading joy to the people he passes. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Astronauts on board a SpaceX capsule are sharing the spectacular view of the Aurora Australis. It's the elusive twin of the Northern Lights in the Southern Hemisphere. This time-lapse video shows the impressive green and deep red curtains of light. Amazing. Well, Team Canada has arrived in Toronto ahead of their first World Cup match Friday. Fans gathered to catch a glimpse of the team's training session this morning, with several players stopping to sign autographs. Jacob Schaffelberg and Ali Ahmed both took part in their first full training sessions, while Moisey Bombito is in modified training. Captain Alfonso Davies, who has already been ruled out of Canada's first match, was spotted running separately from the team. The squad will take on Bosnia-Herzegovina on Friday. Scottish superfan Craig Ferguson is nearing the finish of a grueling journey to his country's first game at the World Cup.
I'm attempting to become the first man in history to walk the entire length of America from LA to New York, coast to coast, while wearing a kilt.
The 22-year-old is making the 4,800-kilometer journey, which he is calling a tartan trek. He's also using it to raise money for mental health initiatives with a goal of £1 million. He started the tartan trek at the beginning of February. Scotland's first match is on June 13th in Boston. But maybe he shouldn't even bother with Boston because Vancouver is #1. That is according to Sports Illustrated, who ranked this year's best World Cup cities. The magazine judged BC Place, its location downtown and connection to rapid transit as bonuses for the city. Vancouver's climate, walkability, match schedule, and tourist activities also scored high. Seattle came in a close second and Toronto was third. San Francisco was lowest on the list. Well, I think that it's because Santa Clara, the stadium in San Francisco, is so far away. You want to make it convenient for people to get to the stadium.
Yeah, I went to a Niners game a few years ago, and it's so far out of the city, and it was a pain. So I can see why they rank that way.
We'll see if Vancouver lives up to the #1 ranking, though, right? Okay, dozens of restaurants from across the country gathered in Ottawa yesterday for the second annual Shawarma Fest.
It's like paradise. Like, there's shawarma shops everywhere. It's lots of fun.
Restaurants competed for the best tasting shawarma. Bustan, a chain based out of Montreal, took the top prize. The event even set a Guinness World Record for the longest line of shawarma sandwiches with more than 2,400 of them.
I think they do that every year and just make it one shawarma longer so that they can, I feel like I've heard the world record thing.
Yeah, but judging by all the people there, I think that they were gone within minutes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Free shawarmas. Okay, well, Lauren, what's coming up tonight on the Late News?
Well, Mijung, we are taking a closer look at the Granville Street closure, and we'll have more reaction tonight on the impacts of it going pedestrian only over FIFA. And we are hearing from the Burnaby fire chief tonight about the blaze that destroyed an A&W late this afternoon, why it was such a difficult fire for crews to fight.
All right, thanks a lot, Lauren. Finally, Adam finds out how a former UVic student's unexpected pet is inspiring a visitor from the other side of the world. It's a story about friendship, community, and one very popular tortoise on tonight's Encore Sawatsky sign-off.
Oh my God, I'm from Australia and I think this is amazing.
Jan Stewart has traveled here from Australia to photograph as many creatures as she can.
I can't believe it, but that you've got this walking up the street.
Before we introduce you to who's walking, if you asked Jan to rank all the animals she's encountered in Canada,
elk, marmot, orcas, seeing bears in the wild.
Just happening upon this tortoise named Pong is proving to be the #1 best by far.
It's incredible. I think it's beautiful. Love it.
Well, Simon Damborg doesn't disagree. He's not surprised to see the tortoise saunter down the street because the prehistoric-looking reptile is his roommate.
I wake up and there's usually a dinosaur sleeping on my kitchen floor, and it would be weird to not have that now.
Pong arrived in Simon's life after the tortoise outgrew his friend's place and required somewhere to recuperate after surgery.
And so, yeah, it was a temporary rescue 3.5 years ago.
It stopped being temporary when the process of rehabilitating the reptile created a permanent place for Pong in Simon's heart.
My heart is jumping.
For Maria, seeing Pong is like love at first sight.
I feel, oh my God, it's so beautiful feeling. Look at that.
Whether he's sauntering down the sidewalk for his daily dose of exercise or watching others work out at the gym Simon and his partner own, Pong seems to always be lifting people's spirits.
That's wild, man. Just the amount of joy that it brought people. I mean, they'd walk with us for hours just to watch his little leggies mosey down the street.
So, Simon started sharing images of Pong's life in and out of their apartment on social media, showcasing the diaper he wears to work, how he's learned to open the fridge to get a healthy snack, and by speeding up the video, illustrating how the tortoise likes to stay as close to his family members as he can.
Hope that the joy that people get from seeing him, kind of like a pay it forward, that they go out of their way to do something to help bring joy to some other people.
A joy that's set to spread to the other side of the world, albeit at a tortoise pace, when Jan starts showing her photos of Pong to friends and family in Australia.
It's just amazing. It's amazing.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by 1-800-GOT-JUNK. They make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
We're trying to figure out, is that a harness for Pong? For a leash? Does he need a leash at the pace that he's going?
He's not going to get too far.
Yeah.
Or too fast.
Yeah. Or maybe it's a handle to lift Pong. But I would imagine Pong is heavy.
65 pounds, it said on that Instagram.
Yeah, but very cute. He's the star of Mount Pleasant.
Squat Pong. All right, let's take a look at the scenic snapshot. It's a beauty. See all this rain we've been getting? All for a reason. Beautiful flowers. Thank you, David, for sending this in. If you want your photo featured, email us, scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
All right, thank you for sharing part of your evening with us. Have a great evening.